Hey there, gorgeous. I'm so glad you're here, because today we're diving into one of the most confusing, frustrating, and yet deeply fascinating questions that so many incredible women like you ask me all the time. How do men actually fall in love? Now, I know you've probably heard a million mixed messages about this. Some say men fall in love slower than women. Others say they don't really fall at all. They just commit when it's convenient. And then there's the classic one. You just have to play it cool and let him chase you forever. And let me tell you right now, that last one, total nonsense. Because the truth is, men do fall in love deeply, fully, sometimes obsessively, but they do it differently. Their timeline looks different. Their emotional process looks different. And if you've ever found yourself staring at your phone, wondering why things felt so magical one minute and then suddenly flat the next, it's probably not because you did something wrong. It's because you didn't know the real roadmap. So today we're going to take the guesswork out of it. I'm going to walk you through 5 things, 5 real, grounded, human things that actually make a man fall in love. Not just intrigued, not just attracted, but hooked, heart open, soul invested, can't get you out of his head, kind of in love. These aren't tricks. This isn't about changing who you are or playing games. It's about understanding what lights men up on a deeper level, what makes love stick. And once you know how it works, you get to show up in a way that's magnetic, effortless, and most importantly, real. So grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine if it's that kind of night, and let's pull back the curtain on what actually makes a man fall. Because when you understand this, you won't just attract love, you'll attract the right kind of love, the lasting kind. Let's dive in. If there's one thing that secretly makes a man fall in love, and I mean really fall, it's the moment he realizes he can just be himself with you. No mask, no pressure, no constant performance. Just him, raw, real, unfiltered, and still accepted. See, men spend most of their lives in performance mode. We're taught to be strong, funny, successful, put together, the guy who's got it all figured out. And so many of us walk around with this quiet tension in our chest, always trying to be enough. But when we meet a woman who doesn't just like the curated version of us, but who actually creates a space where we can drop the act and just exhale, that's when something shifts. That's when we start to feel deeply connected. Because in that moment, we're not trying to impress you, we're not trying to win you, we're just being. And you're right there, present with us, letting it be okay. It's the way you listen without rushing to fix. The way you let him talk about something he's struggling with, and you don't look at him like he's broken or weak or less of a man for not having it all figured out. It's the way you don't punish his honesty or his flaws or the moments he needs space to think. It's when he tells you something vulnerable, something he doesn't even tell his friends. And instead of judging it, you look at him with more compassion, more softness, and maybe even more desire. That's powerful. That's magnetic. And most men don't get that kind of safety often, if ever. When you give him that, you stop being the woman he's dating and start becoming the woman he can't imagine not having in his life. And the magic is, this kind of emotional safety doesn't come from being passive or overly agreeable. It comes from being present, from being grounded in yourself, from being a woman who's so confident who she is that she doesn't need him to be perfect to feel secure in the connection. You're not trying to mold him, you're simply giving him space to unfold. And the more he feels that around you, the more he starts showing you parts of himself no one else gets to see. That's intimacy. That's where love starts to bloom. Because when a man feels like he's truly seen, not for what he does or what he has, but for who he is, he doesn't just fall for you. He trusts you with his heart. And that is a kind of love that goes way beyond lust or chemistry. It's the kind that stays. Here's something that most women don't realize about men. We are wired to want to win. And I don't mean winning in the ego-driven, I must dominate the world way. I mean in a deeply emotional, primal, almost childlike way. Men fall in love with women who allow them to feel like they make your life better, like they add value to your world in a way that's noticed, appreciated, and even admired. Because no matter how confident or successful a guy is, he still wants to feel like he has a place in your life where his effort matters. And when a woman allows that, when she invites him to show up, to contribute, and then acknowledges it in a way that feels sincere, that's when his heart starts to open. It can be the smallest thing too. Maybe he offers to help fix something, or he remembers your coffee order, or he checks in because he noticed you had a rough day. And instead of brushing it off like it's no big deal, you smile, touch his arm, and say something simple like, "I love that you thought of me." It's these micro moments that hit him right in the chest. And it's not about you needing him, because you don't. It's about letting him see that his presence has an impact, that he's not just another guy in your orbit. He's the guy whose attention, protection, ideas, and thoughtfulness actually make a difference. When he feels that, he feels purposeful. He starts to feel proud. And then something magical happens. He wants to keep showing up, not just with effort, but with his heart. And no, this doesn't mean you should fake admiration or sit back and stroke his ego every 5 minutes. Men don't fall in love with flattery, they fall in love with recognition. It's about showing genuine appreciation when he brings value, emotional, practical, playful, whatever it may be, and letting him feel that little hit of, damn, she really sees me. When he feels like he gets to win with you, when you become the place where his masculinity is welcomed, not criticized, that's when he starts associating love with you. Not pressure, not performance, but purpose. And it's powerful, because once he feels like a hero in your story, not because he's saving you, but because you're letting him contribute, he becomes emotionally invested. He starts building things with you, for you, around you. That's how a man starts to see a future. That's how he stops thinking about dating and starts thinking about us. So if you want him to fall, let him win. Let him matter. And don't underestimate how much those little acknowledgements can turn a good connection into a love that lasts. Let's talk about unpredictability. That little spark of surprise, that flicker of, I don't have her completely figured out yet, that keeps a man leaning in. You know what I'm talking about. It's that moment where he thinks he's seen every side of you, and then boom, you say something clever, bold, or wickedly playful that makes him blink twice and think, wait, who is this woman? That's the magic. Because while men may love comfort and loyalty in a relationship, the thing that makes them fall, and I mean fall hard, is a woman who keeps them just a little off balance in the best possible way. Think about it. Attraction thrives in tension, the unknown, that exciting little edge where he can't always predict what you'll say or what you'll do next. It's not about being inconsistent or playing games. It's about being dynamic, multifaceted, surprising. Maybe one night you're in sweats on the couch cracking jokes and eating takeout, and the next you're whispering something totally unexpected in his ear that makes his knees go weak. Maybe you're warm and affectionate one moment, then throw in a cheeky tease the next, just enough to keep things lively. That unpredictability, it's not chaos, it's chemistry. It's the feeling that you're your own woman, that your energy, your mood, your vibe isn't something he owns or controls. It's something he gets to discover. And trust me, men live for that. Because the moment he feels like he can perfectly map you out is the moment his brain starts to disengage. Our minds, just like yours, are wired to seek novelty, excitement, and little challenges. So when you bring that energy into your relationship, even in small doses, it activates something powerful in him. He starts chasing again. He gets curious. He starts wondering, what's she going to do next? And that wonder is what keeps the attraction alive, even in long-term relationships. And the best part, you don't have to reinvent yourself or perform to create that spark. It comes naturally when you're in tune with your own joy, when you're connected to your playful side, when you follow your own moods and desires instead of trying to fit into what you think he wants. Sometimes it's the unexpected opinion you have on something. Sometimes it's the spontaneous way you grab his hand and say, let's go somewhere. Sometimes it's not texting back right away, not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're out living your life and he's not the center of your universe. That's sexy. That's magnetic. He falls in love when he's not just drawn to your body or your laugh, but to the mystery of you, the layers, the playful challenge, the unspoken feeling that you are still evolving, still growing, still capable of surprising him. That's the stuff that keeps him coming back, not because he has to, but because he's hooked. So be the woman who keeps him guessing in all the right ways. Be warm, be fun, be connected, but also be the woman who throws a little curveball now and then, who keeps life with you feeling like an adventure he never wants to stop exploring. Because when a man falls in love with your unpredictability, he doesn't just fall for who you are today. He falls for the possibility of who you'll be tomorrow. And that kind of love, that's unforgettable. Here's something that takes a man from interested to enchanted. When he sees that you have your own light and it shines brilliantly with or without him. I'm talking about that fire in your eyes when you're doing something you love, that confidence in your step when you're heading toward your goals, that genuine laughter you share with your friends when you're completely in your element. When a man witnesses that, when he sees that your life is already full, joyful, passionate, and vibrant, he doesn't feel like you need him to complete you. And oddly enough, that's exactly what makes him want to be a part of it. Because let's be honest, neediness is never sexy, but passion, purpose, that's irresistible. Men fall in love with women who have gravity, who have a life that pulls people in, not because she's trying to impress anyone, but because she's genuinely excited about how she's living. You become magnetic when your energy isn't hinged entirely on whether he's texting back or how he feels that day. When your happiness comes from within, from your creativity, your friendships, your values, your wild little adventures, he starts to see you not just as someone he wants to be with, but someone he admires. And admiration is key. Because lust fades, comfort plateaus, but admiration, that's what makes him think, wow, she's the kind of woman I want to build with. It shifts the way he sees you. You're not someone who's sitting around waiting for him to show up and give your life meaning. You already have meaning. You already have momentum. And that challenges him in the best way. It inspires him to rise, to bring his best self into your orbit, because he knows you're not going to sacrifice your passions or shrink just to keep him around. And the beauty of this is, it doesn't mean you have to be running a company or traveling the world every week. Lighting up your life can be as simple as cultivating joy in your hobbies, saying yes to things that make you feel alive, surrounding yourself with people who elevate you, or just showing up to your life with that quiet confidence that says, I like who I am and I love where I'm going. When a man sees that you're not waiting for him to hand you a life, but instead you're inviting him into one that's already worth being part of, that's when he starts to invest, not out of guilt, not out of obligation, but out of excitement. He begins to think, she doesn't need me, but I want to be the one she chooses. And that right there flips the entire dynamic, because now it's not about chasing him. It's about choosing each other. It's about creating a relationship that adds to the already beautiful thing you've built. So don't dim your light thinking it will make someone love you more. Don't quiet your dreams or downplay your brilliance. Because the man who's worth your heart, he doesn't want to be your whole world. He wants to join the extraordinary one you're already creating and fall in love with you more every step of the way. Here's the thing that separates a man staying from a man falling deeply in love. And it's not what you think, It's not how much you do for him, how quickly you say yes to his plans, or even how generous and supportive you are. Those things might make him feel appreciated, even cared for. But what truly cracks his heart wide open is when he feels emotionally chosen, not needed, not depended on, chosen. And there's a massive difference. You see, a lot of relationships fall into this quiet trap where it becomes all about logistics. He becomes the guy who fixes things, picks you up, helps out, provides, solves problems. And while that might stroke his ego for a while, it doesn't feed his soul, because no man wants to feel like he's being kept around just because life is easier with him in it. He wants to feel like you look at him, this one man out of all the people you could have, and you say, I choose you, not because I need you, because I see you, because I want you. That's a whole different energy. And it's incredibly rare. It's when you let him know through your words, your body, your affection, that he's not just filling a role, that you don't just appreciate what he does, you love who he is, that you notice his quirks, his quiet effort, his vulnerability, and you honor it. Men crave that desperately. And the more successful, stoic, or put together a guy seems, the more likely it is that no one ever tells him those things. So when you're the woman who looks him in the eye and makes him feel emotionally seen, who makes him feel like he's not just your plan B for loneliness or a placeholder until you get your dream life figured out, when he feels like you could be with anyone but you keep choosing him every single day, that's when love becomes anchored. That's when he drops his guard and starts imagining a future with you. And here's the best part. This isn't about being clingy or overly affectionate. It's subtle. It's in how you say his name, how you touch him when no one's looking, how you lean in when he talks about something that actually matters to him, how you remember the details most people skip past. It's when he feels like he matters, not because of what he gives you, but because of what you reflect back to him about who he is at his core. That's the glue. That's the moment a man stops looking outward. Because why would he? You've become the emotional home he didn't even realize he was looking for. And the irony? The less you need him to complete you, the more he feels chosen. Because it's not about filling a gap. It's about building something together. So yes, be strong, be self-sufficient, but also be open, be warm, be willing to look at him in the quiet, unfiltered moments and say, without needing to shout it, you're my favorite person. I'm not here because I have to be. I'm here because you're it for me. It's not just how a man falls in love, it's how he stays. So let's bring this all together. If you take nothing else from this, remember, men don't fall in love with who they should. They fall in love with who they feel most themselves around. They fall in love with the woman who lights up her own life, then invites him into the warmth of it. They fall in love when they feel safe, when they feel like they're winning, when they're kept just a little on their toes, when they admire the life you're already living, and most of all, when they feel chosen, not just needed. That's not about playing games or manipulating anyone. People say that if they don't step in, then the other person loses it and it becomes whole. Nurture it. It becomes a magic. It's about being so rooted in your own self-worth that love becomes a delicious addition to your life, not a lifeline. And when a man feels that, he doesn't just want to date you. He wants to protect it, nurture it, build a life around it. So if you're sitting here wondering how to make a man fall in love, maybe the better question is, how can you fall deeper in love with yourself first? With your spark, your values, your quirks, your growth. Because when you do, love doesn't chase you down by accident. It recognizes you. It shows up and it stays. Now here's your challenge and your invitation. Don't wait for love to find you. Start being the version of you that love is drawn to. Show up to your own life. Take care of your energy. Hold your standards high, but your heart open. And when someone comes along who sees you, chooses you, and earns a front row seat to your world, that's when the real love story begins. You've got this. And trust me, he's going to feel lucky it's you.